Beef steaks are kind of tough, but it's okay. It's good. It'll eat. Nothing wrong with that. Very good. That gravy is very good. Now, just to brag, sorry, but I gotta brag. I don't think there's this good a gravy anywhere else in the city of Ankeny. I want to say that. That's pretty darn good. No matter what you've done today, it's pretty good. You've got to try this. And that recipe, it's very good. Something, I've got the potatoes in there boiling and the meat is cooking. Now I want to point out something here. The 3 of these cube steaks to begin with barely fit in this skillet, and they've shrunk, and there's more liquid in this pan, so I'm to believe that the meat was pumped up with water. So that, you know, just saying. So I think what we're paying for a lot of is water. So whatever that was, the water's kind of washed off my my coating. I don't like that. I do not like that. Okay, so let's let those boil along a little bit, and let's we're gonna get rid of some liquid out of this pan. Guys, thanks for stopping back. So the meat got done. I'm sorry to say there was so much stuff in your liquid that came out of those meat and washed the coating off the meat in a large way. So, but it'll be okay. So I let this cook down to get rid of the water that came out of the meat, and I'm going to. And I just turned the heat back on. And I'm going to get rid of a lot of that grease that's in there, so that we can make some gravy. I know you all like gravy, so let's get rid of some of that. See, this is pretty much cool. Let's see how much grease we have left in here. Or oil. Let's start with that. So let's get some heat back on under this skillet, and I don't know if you noticed in that top cam there is some crunchy goodies that come off of the meat, and you know, Vesta used to always leave those in there, and I think I'm going to do the same. Those go into your gravy. It's just, I think it's just something that, you know, that done. Let's get those off. There we go. So that those kind of flavor up your gravy. I've not done that in years and years. Of course, I haven't fried meat and made gravy in a coon's age, if I'm allowed to say that. Yeah. Okay, so there is still quite a bit in this, so I'm going to use this flour, and we're going to put some of it in there. So we need to get this kind of sizzling a little bit here. So keep in mind this flour is salt and pepper, and That's right. I'll stir it around. Why is this still? Okay, so let's get this going. We've still got quite a bit of flour here. Goodness gracious, it's been a long time since I've done this. Still quite a bit there. We're gonna have a boatload of gravy here when we're done. Man, we'll see. Get this get it heated up here and cooking good for us. There. That's how those flour tidbits get brown and crunchy. You leave them in that grease and let it go for a while. That kind of gives more flavor to the gravy, more character, more flavor. So we need to get that to. As the old saying goes, we're cooking with gas, except it's electricity. And it's got plenty of grease and it's cooking along here. It's developing some color. You want to cook your flour out to get rid of the flour taste so that it doesn't just taste like flour, so that it develops the character of your cooked meat. So goodness gracious, there's enough here enough roux here to make quite a thing of gravy. But that's okay. I like gravy, as my old father-in-law said. Old Bill said he called it beverage. So, but he's dead now. So that's you gotta watch how much gravy you eat, to be honest with you. Of course, this is no worse right here than a lot of this fast food that people eat these days, myself included. There, now we're cooking along here. Milk, we're not making like broth gravy, we're making milk gravy to go over those potatoes, or you could put it over biscuits. You could make biscuits with your country fried steak there. It doesn't have much coating on it, because the water that was in the meat floated the coating right off the meat, so I'm a little disappointed there, but you get the idea. So you can pull this whole thing together if you're prepared, probably 15-20 minutes, to be honest with you. Almost faster than you could go to the local fast food eating establishment. There, see the color that we're developing here? And it's got quite an aroma too, and it's a little bit loose. I don't want to put any more flour in there. We got enough flour in there to make wallpaper paste out of it, but it's going to be good, y'all. I swear it's going to be good. It looks good. There we go. Now we're cooking with electricity. So let's put some, now this is half and half, and it's got a date of March 11th, so it needs to be used up. So we're motivating along here pretty good. We've got some good color to it, and this is all winging it as far as proportions and how much milk, so to speak, and all that. So And that's normal for you're seeing some of that grease float, and that's normal. And what you got to do is you got to start stirring. When you get your roux browned and ready to go, you got to start stirring. And you want to try and keep that from just coagulating on the bottom. So just stir it with your fork, or get yourself something wider if you would like. But as soon as this boils, there it is. It's going to be as thick as it's going to be. See that thickening up? And we may have to add, as much as I have in here, we may have to add some more. Yeah, it's getting pretty thick. See that? Want another slice of gravy, guys? Look at that. She's thickening up pretty good. So we better thin her down, and we're gonna have wallpaper paste. That's how you do that. Just go ahead and just start stirring. Stir, 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 stir. Gravy's not hard. You just got to know what to do. And basically, the key component. See, I got so much flour in. I should have. See, I'm not perfect either, but I like gravy. The old joke was with my oldest brother was, whenever gravy was a little bit on the thick side, was, hey, you want another slice of gravy? So let's go ahead and get that thinned down. Now I like thick gravy. I don't want, as like Vesta, my mom called it, she never liked what she called chase gravy either, where you gotta chase it around the plate and you can't get it on your fork. She called that chase gravy. And I don't like chase gravy either. I like good thick gravy. Nothing wrong with that. And we're gonna call this good. Let's shut that off. Move this over here where it's still kind of thick. Let's thin her down some more. That's how you do that. That is how you do milk gravy with your fried meat and stuff like that. Now I did not peel those. I just boiled them whole with potatoes. And so what I'm gonna do for my dinner here, as soon as I get this, it's not so bad. Looky there, that's not bad at all. Let's get rid of that here so I can get a little taste of it. That's pretty good, and then believe it or not, it needs more salt. But I'm gonna leave it go because I've salted on my plate. So okay, so here's the oil I dumped out of there, and here's the potatoes, and I need a plate. I need a plate. All right. And I am not going to bother with peeling. Let's and well, they're kind of small. I'll just go ahead and take two of them. They are hot. I will tell you that. Where did they go? Hello. They never moved. So let's go ahead and let's just do like this. Let's see how easy they are to peel. Look at that. They are easy. Just a boiled potato, excuse me, is much easier to deal with unless you want absolute mashed potatoes. Now that's enough right there with potatoes and gravy and the meat. That's plenty. So I'm just disappointed about that meat turned out, especially for a YouTube video. I need a little ladle here. We're just cream spade, but you know what? You can dip anything you can get in there with that. Oh yeah, that is some nice, thick, basically cream gravy made with half and half. I don't think it's the grease, it's the flour that's in the grease. So there's that. So back in the early 90s, I was a fairly young man. I used to live next door to a gentleman that actually very quickly befriended me because we both enjoyed fishing, and he had a lot to offer in terms of fishing and the outdoors. So he would take me along, and he was eccentric. I will not mince words one little bit. He was eccentric. And he had a way of doing things. So his big thing was, well, he had this little John boat with an anchor and a set of oars, and we would row where we were going to go, drop the anchor, and do our fishing, and row back to where we came from. So we didn't have a motor. And Rip, we called him Rip. His last name was Rippy, and so we called him Rip. So he was always Rip. And he was quite the character, I will just say that. So one time, so Rip was gonna cook some fish, and of course he was known for he'd have some thawed out, he'd fry them, he'd get ready to fry them up. Well, one day I was sitting in the living room and he was over in the kitchen at the stove, and he had a fork or a spoon or something in the skillet, and he was going like this, flipping things out of that pan, out of the skillet, and I thought, what in the world's going on there? And I said, Rip, what are you doing? And he says, I'm trying to get the mouthfuls out of this skillet. So I didn't eat any fish. I didn't eat nothing there that night. In fact, it was quite a while until I did eat there. So I guess that was a major accomplishment to him, was to get that out of there like that, and have a clean skillet. He was quite a character. As time goes on, I'll tell you more about my outdoors escapades. I think we might even take you fishing here when the weather gets nice. So I will be right back. Alright, thanks for stopping back. So I fixed myself a plate. I've got potatoes and gravy and the chicken fried steak. But it looks like I do need a knife to cut the chicken fried. So let's get this out of the way and get a place to set this plate here. And here's a knife right here. There we go. Now that's they're tough. The huge steaks are kind of tough, but it's okay. It's good. It'll eat. Nothing wrong with that. Very good. That gravy is very good. Now, just to brag, sorry, but I gotta brag. I don't think there's this good a gravy anywhere else in the city of Ankeny. I want to say that. That's pretty darn good. No matter what you've dumped it over, it's pretty good. You've got to try this. So one evening I came home from work and Rip was out front. We were on a trailer court and he was out front. He had a fishing pole with a couple of half-inch nuts tied on the end of the line just to, and he was casting across the road which ran in front of our court there, and he was cranking it back just to, I don't know what he was really trying to accomplish other than that was his way of starting a conversation. So, but anyway, so he would get this big farmer swing going and he would let go and go across the road with this line and those nuts and then crank it back, and supposedly he was getting stretch out of his line, I don't know. So I took the bait and I went out there to talk, and next thing you know he winds up the big old farmer swing in the air and lets fly, and the nuts go across the road and they get right in the middle of the road, about right in the middle of the road, and a car comes by right at that very moment, and those nuts stuck in the grill of that car, and away it went. And the fight was on. I mean, that thing was moving backwards as fast as it could go, and he was hanging off his rear leg until it come to the end of that line, and pow, the line come off the end of that. It took every bit of line off that reel, and it broke, and it sounded like a gunshot going off. And we had quite a laugh about that. So that's just one story of back in the day. So.